Good morning, crafty friends. Let me know if you can hear me. Once again, a newer setup that I'm getting used to. I enjoyed seeing everyone come in. I am so glad that you're all here. A special shout out to my channel members and my, I can't remember what the people with the tools are called, my moderators. Thank you so much for being here. Um, while you're coming in, I did pose this question over on Facebook, but let me know your favorite non-traditional pumpkin color. You know, not like the orange, the typical orange we usually think of. What is a different color that you like? And also, I see you're already letting me know where you're watching from. I love it, love it, love it. So I'm going to give everybody kind of a minute to get in, just so you know, in case you see those comments from Nightbot, that is just something on the back end I have that will post automatically. So no need to reply to them. If you do have any questions as I get into creating, please put a Q or the word question in front of it because I won't be able to look up all the time, but when I do, those will be the comments that I look for first. So sorry that you're sick, Bonnie, but glad you're home to watch me. Thanks for being here. Ooh, Deb says purple. I'm not sure that I've ever seen a purple pumpkin. I am going to be checking that out. Awesome. I see we have white pumpkins. I like those too. I like those styrofoam pumpkins. If you buy those, they're already white, right? All right, well, let's kind of get started on what today is going to be all about. If you saw the title, which I believe it's like using my last stencil. Now, don't worry, I'm still going to be using stencils in the future, but let me highlight this comment right here, not too shabby. Teal is her favorite pumpkin color. Mine too, but that is Jamie. And if you didn't know, I am part of her quarterly design team, and I have from time to time designed stencils for her. And I loved it. It was so fun to see my logo on the packaging. But unfortunately, when I agreed to be on the Tailored Expressions design team, I did have to stop designing product for sale. So what I'm going to be using today is the last stencil that I designed for Jamie. Now, if you don't ever shop at the Not Too Shabby site, I hope you'll go over there, support her. Seriously, one of the sweetest business owners I know. I'm glad she gave me a chance to go out there and try designing. I loved it, believe me. And yeah, just give me a chance. And speaking of that, if you know Helen, who is Crafty Mama Diaries, she is selling sequin mixes, and Jamie has picked those up in the store. So I hope you'll check it out. Most of my, I think my supplies that I'm going to be using today, the main ones, are in that description box below if you want to check them out. Like always, those are affiliate links where it doesn't cost you anything, but I might get a small portion of the sale so I can keep buying crafty stuff. So let's see, do we have any questions yet? No? Oh, I'm so glad to see so many of you coming in. Hello, Alice, Chris, Michelle, everybody who is here. Oh my goodness. So let's go ahead. We'll take a look. I have this fancy switcher so I can change my camera over. We'll go ahead and take a look at my last stencil. So it is called Pumpkin Patch, and it's just some wonky pumpkins here for a nice background. Now, one thing when I was designing this, I was going to have it so it would be easier to stencil those stems. I was going to have you flip it front to back, and like only some of the pumpkins and some of the stems would be here. But luckily, I had a light bulb moment. I'm like, wait, if I have inked the front of this stencil and then I flip it over to ink more, I'm probably going to get the ink from the front all over my project. So luckily, I thought ahead. But today, we'll kind of show you how you can work around only inking the stems as much as possible. But again, it's a craft. It doesn't have to be, that background doesn't have to be perfect. You can have a little stem color in the bottom of your pumpkin, but we will do our best today not to do that. I did pre-choose or pre-cut and choose the ink for my pumpkins today, and it's the same as this card base, and I chose Tropical Punch. So we'll be using that for our pumpkins. And to stencil onto, I just have a scrap of white here, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I did go ahead and pre-cut with my stitched rectangle a piece to go on the inside, which later will end up cutting the stenciled piece that same size. Also, to help my little pumpkin, oh, I'll be using a not too shabby stamp set today too. I will be coloring in a pumpkin quickly, hopefully, and then we'll put the vellum behind that to help it stand out from the background. Thank you so much, Jamie. And yes, totally agree, Terry. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to think if I had any other things. One thing I did want to show you. So, I did kind of last night, I pre-planned my card in my card making sketchbook. So I like this because I can go ahead and put down the colors I'm going to use. And then I gave myself an idea of what products, what ideas I want to incorporate into my card. And I have that little sketch there. So I'm going to kind of sit this in front of me. So as I go along, I'll be able to recall what I want to do. All right, let's go ahead. I should have brought in my grid paper. I did forget to get that out. I just want something to be able to stencil on so I don't get ink all over my desktop. And I'm just going to hold this in place with a little adhesive, and I am going to, I removed some of the tack off the back of that just so later when I go to pull it up, it doesn't tear anything up. And we'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit. Becky, that is the Card Maker Sketchbook by Trinity Stamps. They sent me one to test out and I am loving using it. I do have a video on my channel, and after the live, I'll try to put a link in the description box below if you want to check it out as well. All right. Now we're going to put our stencil down on that. And I could have chosen a larger piece of white to stencil onto, so we could have maybe made a couple cards, but today I'm just going to go for this one. And same thing when I just use painter's tape to hold my stencil down. And I take some of the tack off the back with my fingers, again, just to make it easier to pull this up later. And to get started, now what I'm going to do at first, I am going to ink the entire area. I'm not going to worry about those stems, because later I know I'm going to be using a dark brown, so I will be able to come in and cover up the blue that's already there. This way you don't have to be super careful when you're inking up the main part. Let me know in the comments if you enjoy stenciling. And if you've never tried it, let me know that as well. That would be interesting to know. You know, a couple years ago, I wasn't the biggest stenciling fan, but wow, lately I try to use a stencil on just about every single card. Thank you for helping her out, Danny. But yeah, it is the Trinity Stamps. And yeah, I'll link it up later. I got some products prepared down there, but I just kind of sketched out my card last night, so I didn't know to add it. Great. I see some of you are just starting to use stencils, newer. Vicky, I hope you'll give a stencil a try. Yes, Heather, agreed here. Like that. Anita, does that mean you collect them but don't use them? I have plenty of products like that. My most recent one is the Better Press. I bought the system and some plates and some inks, and have I used it? No. All right, so now we have our stencil done, and I think I'm gonna add, I'm gonna try to add a little more interest to this. And this might get a little tricky, but I'm going to use that same blue. And I think I will kind of hold this below each one. And I'm going to come in with a detail blender. And I'm just going to add some extra ink at the bottom of the pumpkin, just to little more depth in there. And I think I know which pumpkin I'll be cutting out. I kind of got a little crazy with the depth on that first pumpkin over here. But that'll actually maybe be covered up by my vellum later. But just this piece of white cardstock is going to keep it from getting down onto the stems of the other one, which for now, it is just the stems and I'll be inking brown over it. But just to make it a little less to have to cover up later. So I'm just kind of adding a little row down there and then blending it out in circular motions. And normally I would tap onto my stencil so I can pick up some more ink. But I'm afraid of getting like a dark spot there. I did see a question here. Danielle, do you keep a notebook just for card sketches and details instructions? Well, before I got the Trinity Stamps book, it was just pieces of paper all over the place and in various notebooks. Now I do try to keep them all in that when I get an idea. Just handy to have it in one place. But yes, if you have an extra notebook that you have around, just anything to get those ideas down. For my sheet load sketches, if that's what you're talking about, I usually kind of do those in Illustrator because I'm usually working on one sketch and then I get an idea of what another one could look like, so I just draw it in there. Oh, I keep forgetting to take off the comment. Is anybody doing anything crafty today? After I do this, I have to play with my cameras a little bit more. Maybe we have some fancy photographers out there. My overhead camera, while it looks okay, I cannot use it for recording because it doesn't focus on the entire area. I have to hold it up close to the camera to get it to really focus. And I don't know if that makes sense, but I can definitely tell a difference in the video that I recorded on here yesterday using the new cameras versus my iPhone. Like, I think I'm going to have to go back to my iPhone for recording. Please make sure to put a Q or a question in front of it because I might not always catch it, but I did on that one. So I don't know if you're talking about this one, Becky. I honestly don't know where I got this. I think I got it from one of the teams that I was on. I don't know if it's something Jamie sent us. I think she sent us shorter ones, or if this was like a cat scrappiness thing. But I have a few different sizes. If anybody else knows of something similar, let Becky know. All right, I think We might be ready. See, like here, if I want to add more color to the bottom of the pumpkins, I am picking up some of that ink that I started to tap off onto my stencil. So we're not going to remove that yet because we still need to get our stems done. And for that, I'm going to be using chocolate truffle ink from Tailored Expressions, and I brought in an even smaller stencil brush. So this is what I use for the details on the pumpkins, and this is what I am going to use for the stems. We'll cross our fingers, right? All right, so I think with this smaller one, I'll be able to keep to where the stem is, but I won't be able to keep it out of the pumpkin. So I'm just going to take a little piece of that cardstock I just used, and I'm going to put it right under where the stem is at. And now when I go in to do those stems, I'm just going to be careful. So just try not to go up into that pumpkin. Oh, Lorraine, good morning from Nebraska. I live in Nebraska as well. And there's another friend here who does as well, but she might want to keep it under wraps. I don't want to out anybody's location. Now, if you don't have a little detail brush like this, you could definitely always use your regular size blending brushes, and then you would just want to cover up this top strip here with another piece like this. You could just use a piece of typing paper or something in the recycle bin. I just find sometimes these are handy to have around. Now, unlike with my other blending brushes, I don't have one of these tiny ones for every color family. I just clean these off in between uses. You can kind of see this one is a little bit stained. Trying to look to see if I have any questions and stencil. It could get a little dangerous though. I will go back once the video has gone live for replay and reread all of your comments. So I might not see them all now, but I do so appreciate that. Speaking of appreciate, if you have a crafty friend who might like to join us, if you'll share. And if you do enjoy the live today before you leave, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. Once I'm done with the stems, I'll kind of stop and look at some of the comments too. Almost there. I think I have one, maybe two more rows. If you haven't heard, Mary Gunn and Amanda Stevenson, so Mary of Craft Roulette and Amanda of Pear Blossom Press, they are doing a special live event for World Card Making Day, and I'm going to be participating in that. So I've shared about it, I think, on my community tab and over on Facebook. So I hope you'll check that out and set your reminder to join us. I have to tell you, they sent out the kind of an idea of what we're going to do, and it could get crazy. So I hope I survive it. All right, I think we got it all stenciled. Let me take a minute here. Oh, let's see. So sorry, Bonnie. I hope you get to feeling better soon. And it looks like Eve too. Oh no. Heal up, everyone. All right, are we ready for the reveal? Somebody can give me a drum roll over there in the chat. I tried to get it where I could have sound effects, and I have my fancy stream deck here. Look, I don't even know the name of it. That's how like above me it is on technology. But it plays noises to me. It doesn't play them through the computer. So I'm glad I figured that out before I like started doing all these sound effects, and then you guys couldn't hear them. Oh, there we go. Oh, where's it at? Thank you, Paula. All right, here we go. Oh my goodness. I knew I was going to love it, but I think I love it even more. And you can kind of see there's just a little hint of a shadow there toward the bottom of those. Oh, okay, so Paula, I'm still trying to figure out Nightbot. You can totally ignore that. Please, no, I wanted you to spam me with those emojis. Sorry, I will figure that out later, how he or she, they don't get all up in our business. I just wanted them to like send out some messages. So here we go for that. Now, hopefully the rest of our card will go a little bit quicker. But just take a couple extra minutes and then you can get those stems stenciled pretty easily. You just might need a little cover up. I'm gonna go ahead and leave this on my desktop. Oh my gosh, Debbie W, I'm so sorry about Nightbot. I don't even think I can go in and change it now. I'm so sorry. Never mind. I guess we can't spam emojis right now. I have to figure out how to stop that from happening because I love it when you all send emojis. Now we're going to set that to the side and I am going to bring in this I stamped last night because I wanted to make sure that the ink was nice and dry. I use VersaFine Onyx Black, and I'm going to be using Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers or pens. So I wanted to make sure it was dry, make sure it was a good ink, but I did go ahead and stamp too, just in case something happened. Beachcomber, I did explain it at the beginning of the video, so you might have came in a little late. It's the last stencil that I designed for Not Too Shabby. And Danielle, this will be available later for a replay, so thank you for joining us this far. It might take a little while to populate on my YouTube channel, but it will be available so you can watch it. Thank you for coming. All right, let's go ahead. And I pre-chose 3 colors. They are 33 Persian green, 62 dark brown, and 44 deep green. Now, how I chose those, when I first got my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers, that's way long, so I'm just going to call my Zig markers. I printed I made this, it's pretty simple, but I named all the colors how they sat in the box, and they're actually in number order. And I printed this on the same cardstock that I stamp onto just to make sure I get the same colors. So I kind of went last night and I figured out which color was closest to my cardstock, and that was Persian green. And then I picked out a green and a brown for the stem of this pumpkin and those little viney leaves. To blend it out, you can use water, I believe, but I like to use their colorless blenders. Another thing that looks neat is if you use one of those sparkle pens. you can blend out with that, and then it also adds a little shine. So let's see if I remember how to use these, because it has been months since I did them. But I think I'm going to start with the little areas. And what I do is I'm just going to add a little green to the leaves right where the stem of, right where their stem is. So just a little bit. Let me know in the comments if you've used Zig pens before. And now I have a little color down, so I'm going to come in with that colorless blender. And I'm just going to go from where the stem is and color up. I don't know if I can. Okay, let's see if that works. So here's a little green, and I'm just going to color it to the end of the leaf, okay? Now, because I don't want to take that same green onto the next leaf, I want like a variation. I am just going to color that off on the edge until it colors clear again. And then I'll go into each of the leaves and do that same thing. I hope you can kind of see how that color's coming up there. They're super easy to use, and you know, you get that variation in color with just the one marker. I am staying far enough. I'll be using the coordinating dies to cut this out with later. I am, when I do my color off over here, making sure to stay far enough away from my pumpkin. You could always too color off on the side if you have something underneath. And now we'll do the same thing for the stem. Oh, I hope you will, Pam. For the stem, I'm just going to color right along the base of it. And this one, because it is a larger area, I'm going to color or push the color about halfway up, then clean off my marker or my blender and finish pushing that to the top of the stem. That way you really get that darker color down around there. Then if you wanted to come back in and add more color, you could definitely do that. Now here, we're going to try to color our little pumpkin blue. And hopefully this works out as nicely as the small areas did. This is where I start to get nervous. Like, I love to color little bitty things. And I know the pumpkin is not huge, but it still just takes up more area. I think at the bottom, I'm going to just kind of go in sections. So I'll do the right part here, just to make sure my Zig ink doesn't dry. And again, I'm going to color up part way. Clean that off. And color, I'm going to try to get as far to the center as I can, because I'm going to come in from the bottom, up from the bottom and then down from the top, and they'll kind of fade out hopefully and meet in the middle. And again, if you want to grab more color, you can come down to the bottom and push it up. Okay. Oh, thank you for that question, Karen. Yes, it is. I meant to tell everybody that when I talked about the ink I use. Yes, I definitely use Strathmore Bristol Smooth. Now, it's not perfectly smooth, but it's going to be a lot smoother than watercolor, which you might actually be able to use this on watercolor paper too. If anybody knows, let us know in the comments. But yeah, I just started with the Strathmore because when I first got these and I was watching all the videos, that's what everybody suggested. I might be a little bit more quiet as I color, just so I can concentrate, because if you've been around my channel long, you know that I'm not so confident with my coloring. I've been trying to do more lately. So as I'm coloring over here on the left, I want to try to get the same shading all the way across. So I might have to come in with some more of that dark color just to make it a little more even. But I'm also trying to avoid my leaves. I've used zigs on watercolor paper, but don't care for the texture that much. Yeah, same thing with me, especially when you're stamping something. Sometimes it's so hard to get a nice crisp stamp on there. I'm just going to add some more color here. See if we can make it a little darker over here on this side. And if you think it's getting too dark, you can always take the color off on the side and start back over with that clear ink. All right. I think to do the other side, I'm going to turn it around and start at the bottom from the stem. Alicia, get Danny's coloring expertise to help you. I will never be Danny level. And yes, I do when I need some help, I shout her out. Now, if you're new here, make sure a lot of the people in the chat do have channels, so I hope you'll check them out. Karen is part of my sheet load of cards team, so you've probably seen her. Danny has been part of my collaborations in the past, and she currently has a birthday card a day series going on her channel, so I hope that you'll check that out. I've enjoyed following along. Yeah, I just got really quiet. I got to get right around these leaves. Maybe I should have colored my leaves brown, and then I could have done the same technique as the stencil. Just color the whole pumpkin and then go back in and do the leaves. Then I wouldn't have had to been so careful. And every time I think I need some more darkness in the middle, I just come back right below that stem and pick up some more color. I'm trying to pick up enough so I can make the bottom and the top colors come together. That bottom has kind of dried, so it's harder to pick up and blend from here up. So I'm coming from the stem and trying to blend into that. This is all about trial and error. It's just cardstock, right? So we can keep trying out different things. Having a little bit of a tough time with that right there, so trying to get some more in there. I think, let's see what happens if I try to pick up some with this. Get most of it off there. There we go. So I picked up some off the pen directly, but again, it was still pretty dark, so I colored some off. Ooh, there. Yeah, that was too dark. I should have colored that off a little bit more. Okay. So it is not perfect, but hey, I think it's going to make a cute card. Let's go ahead. We'll go to the face for a little bit, and I'll get some questions if we have any. Thank you, Karen, talking about my coloring. Probably right there till the end, right? And Sandy has a question. Let me get that up there. Just to clarify, are the Zigs watercoloring pens? It is, I do not believe they're considered watercolors. Let's see what it says. I don't know, because I have used watercoloring pens before, and they are different. If anybody in the chat knows, help Sandy out if you can. Because I've used those, oh, sorry, I meant to hide that one. I've used watercolor pens before, and they seem a little bit different. Oh, I like this one. Pam, nature is not perfect. I agree, Pam. Thank you. All right. We'll go ahead and go back down. And let's get this little guy cut out. Gotta find my dies. So this set has coordinating dies if you want to purchase it. And let me get that out here. As always, you know my favorite tape to hold this in place is my Scotch removable tape. I just keep using this stuff over and over again until it loses all of its tackiness. Try not to get my head in the way. Let's die cut that. If you have a question, now is a time where I can look at them. Run my die through. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up if you're having fun. Share the video with a friend. And if you're not already a subscriber, I would love it if you would subscribe. And heads up, I'm going to do a giveaway at the end. So you need to stick around. Yeah, just keep sticking around. I have a special giveaway. So here we have our die cut pumpkin. And let's see what else. I think I need a sentiment. I need to stamp that. And then I think maybe we can start putting this together. So for my sentiment, I don't know if it's going to be easy to see here on my sketch, but I had like a little tag that I wanted to do it on. So I had to pick a smaller one than what comes with the set I'm using. So I thought this one, Thankful For You from, what is this? It's Honeybee Stamps Sweater Weather. I thought that would make a good one for a tag shape. All right. Sorry, I got a little distracted. Let's go ahead and stamp this. I think, should I use, let me know over in the comments, should I use the Tropical Punch or the chocolate truffle for my sentiment, because I think later I'm going to add a little bit of twine to my tag. So blue or brown, you can write in the chat and we'll kind of see what you're thinking over there. While I have a little drink to wet my whistle. I have some red water and some clear water. I like to put those Skittles drink mixes into my water cup. Okay. I'm seeing some of both, but I think chocolate might be the most popular right now. So I'm going to go ahead and go with that. And I need a scrap of white. So, look at that right there for me. Is anybody having a snack or a drink while you're watching, or are you crafting along while you're watching? When I put this down, because it's a scrap of white, I'm not really going to bother where I put it. I just need it on the white cardstock. The only thing is, when I go to use my die later, I do know that I want extra space over here on the left. So I'm going to put it a little bit to the right of this. Don't get yourself in trouble, Becky. And then we'll ink it up with the chocolate truffle. Some of us having sweet tea, pumpkin spice. I am not a tea or a coffee drinker, but for those of you who are, I love it that it's pumpkin spice season for you. And I have to highlight this one. Where's it at? I am still in jammies. I would still be in jammies too if I didn't have this live. Oh, I like this. Terry is crafting along with a pumpkin stencil and sipping on mango pineapple ginger tea. Lovely. Love it. Diet Dr. Pepper. I think, Danny, is that maybe one of your favorites? Seems like people are getting ready for lunch. Yeah, I forget that it is kind of getting to be that time. All right, let's get, I did ink that up, but you know what? I sat there and chit-chatted too long. Let's ink it up again, just in case. Now, sometimes when I use my MISTI, I will bring in my presser tool. But when it's a sentiment, I just use my fingers because I don't want to squish it too much. And I can always ink it up and stamp it again if it's not nice and crisp. Which that looks good. So I will just set this to the side for now. I will clean everything later. It always looks like a storm went through here. And again, I'm going to bring in that piece of removable tape from earlier. It's still perfectly usable, and use it for this new die. Just going to try to get it as straight and centered in there as I can. Be right back. All right. And now we have our sentiment. Probably could have worked on getting it a little centered top to bottom, but we'll pretend like this is nature too, and it doesn't have to be perfect, right? Still playing with my zooms. All right, now I think we need to kind of get our card started putting together to know where we cut our tag. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be cutting this down so we can see the Tropical Punch card base behind it. And I am using one of my all-time favorite sets, My Favorite Things Dynamics A2 Stitch Rectangles Set 1. I think Danny has these too, and she's been using them on her series, and it is such a long title, like, to say all of that. But yeah, definitely one of my favorites. And I'm going to use the second from the largest, and it's going to be the same size as the one that I pre-cut for the inside of my card. And now this is a time where you can kind of move it around to see, you know, where you'd like to have it. I'm going to do kind of down in the corner. Oh, and you know what? To hold that where I want it. Oh, there it is. I'm going to use that piece of removable tape again. I'm definitely going to have to go figure out Nightbot with the posting. And now we have our cut down panel. Okay. What I want to do is have my pumpkin on the left, and to help it stand out, I have my piece of vellum. But I do want it kind of right at the edge, and I'm going to trim the vellum off when I figure out where I want it to go. Okay, the arrangement might take a little bit. Even though I did pre-sketch it, it's always different when it's in action like this. I think I want that right about there. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Bearly Art Glue. Thank you to Karen for sending me my Bearly Art Glue. I love it. And I'm going to hold down my vellum and just kind of move my pumpkin to the side. And I'm going to put my glue where I know the pumpkin will cover it. And I actually meant to put that on the other side of the vellum. You know what? The pumpkin's going to cover it. Right there. The magic of, not the magic of editing, but almost as good. So I'm going to put it on the pumpkin below the vellum. And then we're going to let that sit in place under a block for a minute. And now let's figure out, I'm going to get some of this darkest twine here and make a tiny little bow, if I can. Might have cut that a little too small. I have plenty. I could have cut it bigger. I see Lisa, Barely Art is her favorite. Lisa is also on my Sheetload of Cards collaboration team. If you're here and listening and you are too, let me know. That's who I've noticed so far. Okay. Got my little bow here. I think we'll have to use some glue dots for this. Oops. Originally, I was going to maybe cut this left edge off, but I think instead what I'm going to do is put my ribbon like that to kind of take up some of that space. Here are some glue dots I've had for ages from paper pumpkin kits, the leftovers. All right, now I gotta plug my glue back up before it gets clogged. I think let's cut that excess vellum off. I'm just going to put my scissors right along the edge of the cardstock while I'm cutting. And now let's get it on our card base. Again, I'm using a Tropical Punch card base. And I don't know why, I always like the ones that sit like this, where I have the fold on the smaller side. Does anybody in the comments have a preference? Do you do it like, you know, the normal like side fold, or do you prefer top fold too? I think probably why I prefer top fold is it's easier when you're taking photos of your cards. But I know sometimes they don't always stand as well as the ones that fold on the side. Make sure I get 3 edges good before I push that down. And I need some foam tape. For my sentiment, I'm going to be using my foam tape from Amazon, and this is a 1/4 inch wide. I'm going to put a little strip here on the back of my sentiment. And for my pumpkin, I'm going to use my Tailored Expressions, which looks to me to be just about the same, but it's wider, so I can use less length on the back of my pumpkin. I have seen those and they look so neat, but I think one more thing to go on my desktop here is not going to work out. I already am hurting for a surface, but yes, those do always look super neat. Ugh. For the stem, I know it's hard to see, but I have this little piece, or one of these little pieces, that I keep on the side when I have to cut something down. I'm going to try to use one of those just to have a little bit more support there on the stem. That worked great. Me too, me too. And oh no, it is already on. I was going to say, before I put my foam stuff onto my card, I need to have the card front on the base, but I already did that. Now, my original thing was to kind of have it hanging off there, but the tag ended up being too big. So I almost think I'm going to move that up on my vellum circle and kind of center that below it. What do you think? Let me know. Should I go ahead and glue it down like that? And I'll get a soda while you discuss. Welcome, welcome. Better late than never. I'm glad you're here for a little bit. Thank you. All right. I think I'll go for it then. All right. Now with this tape, you kind of want to burnish the back to make sure the foam's sticking to your cardstock so you can easily pull the release paper. But sometimes on these itty bitty skinny ones, it's hard to get the release paper off. There we go. I'm gonna have this. I'm gonna have the leaves stick just a little bit over the edge of the border to add a little interest. All right, now we just have to add that inside. Another thing you could do, instead of keeping the inside just plain cardstock, you could re-stamp the pumpkin on the inside, maybe either do a second generation in the center or stamp it off to the side on one of the bottom edges. I'm just, for now, going to leave the inside just the plain white. And I know later I might have to add some sparkle. You know me. But, oh, I love it. I love it. If you enjoyed that, give this video a thumbs up. And let's go ahead. I'll see if I can get it back to face. And I mentioned earlier, I do have a giveaway. So I hope that you're still here. Let me find it. What did I do with it? There it is. All right. So in honor of my last stencil, and because Jamie was so nice and she sent me, there was a little miscommunication there, but I got a lot of extras this month, and that included some extra stencils. So I'm going to be giving away one of my stencils, and you can live in the US or international. You do need to be 18 years or older, and I would appreciate it if you're going to enter that you are subscribed to my channel. Now, this is another one of those new things we got to try out, guys. So supposedly, I have a website open that's linked to the new streaming software I use, where it will pick a winner for me, okay? But after we pick the winner, I will need to give you some more information, okay? So what we're going to do, let me see if I can share my screen. Oh, let's share. Did that work? Oh, okay, it worked. Now what you have to do, if you would like to be entered to win one of my stencils, in the comment section one time, you're going to type hashtag stencil. It has to look exactly like what's on screen now. And you'll kind of see as people start doing it, the entries number will go up. So just one time, hashtag stencil. And I'm going to set a timer for 2 minutes. So you'll have 2 minutes. When that goes off, we will draw the winner. Unless the number stops going up way before that, then we'll click the giveaway. But I guess now I'll tell you what you have to do if you're the winner. To make sure that the person who won is the person who claims it, what you're going to do is send me an email at callmecraftyal@gmail.com, and that is in the bottom of every single one of my videos. And you'll say, hey, I won the stencil on today's live. Then you have to come back to this video and leave a comment, not over here in the live chat. Leave a comment below the video with the first 3 letters of your email address. This is just so I make sure the person who won it is the person who is claiming it, because when you come back here and you leave those first 3 letters, it's going to show up as that same username that you won with today. All right, so we have still a minute left. And are they still coming in? We'll see. While I do that, yeah, if you have any, well, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and send those in. And I've got about 45 seconds for the to keep getting your entries in. What does this one look like? There we go. Now I'm a little bit bigger. But then I think, let me just test this while we're waiting. I think then I could also show you my card and the prize right here. If I click that. Ah, no, darn it. I thought I could change which was in the big box, but that's something I'll have to practice with later. Love it so far. Oh, here, let's see. We can tell. We have 33 entries so far, and my timer just went off. So we are going to draw for a winner. Let's go. Cross your fingers. Cross your fingers. Okay, I'm going to give you, I see some still rolling in, so I want to make sure everybody gets a chance. Because I know that you guys are just a little bit behind me. All right, let's go. It looks like it stopped at 34. Oh, I got it. I have to go over my other window to draw it. So here we go, here we go. And if you happen to already, well, oh, Diana, congratulations. I was going to say if you already have the stencil, you can let me know, but you probably wouldn't have entered. So congratulations, Diana. Make sure to send me that email. And then again, you'll come back to the replay of this video and leave a comment in the comment section. I saw another question. Gladys, who is a longtime channel member, says, do you have a place to share our card creations? So right now, the end of the month Show Us Your Sheet Load is on hiatus. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do it. I'm still just trying to get back into the routine after my mom's passing, and that is one of the things that I haven't started back up. But if you want to get more inspiration, you can go, of course, here on YouTube, use the monthly hashtags, or over on Instagram. I also have a Facebook group. If you search for Call Me Crafty Al, I have albums for, here, let me go back. I have albums for each of the monthly editions. So you can't just like put your pictures out on the wall or in comments, but you can put those in the albums, and then you'll have that one place to go if you're looking for inspiration. Great question. I saw something else I wanted to share too. Becky, I might have missed it, but is this stencil still available? Yes, it was as of the other day, and I do have a link in the description box below if you want to go check it out. There were lots of other great things in the quarterly release. Jamie releases awesome stuff every month, so definitely check that out. There was still one more. I think it was June. I think Created to Bless said it, but it's so far up I can't find it. She thought maybe I could give away the card. You know what? We can try this. So let me see if I can. Okay. I would be happy to send somebody the card. So I gotta try this again. Let me share my screen. Okay. Let's see here. Did it work? Yes. If you, sorry, let me close this out. If you would like to win my card, put hashtag card one time in the comments. So I started my timer for 2 minutes. Diana, I will go over again what you need to do once I announce the winner of the card. I'll get a little sip here. So Lorraine, this was actually the last stencil I designed for Not Too Shabby. I do still have some stencils available for sale over there, and Jamie also has lots of her products still available. And again, links are in the description box. I think I have a link to the Not Too Shabby store itself. A little over a minute left. I'll go ahead now since we have some time. So Diane and our new winner, you're going to send me an email at callmecraftyal@gmail.com. That is in the bottom of the description box. And let me know that you won either the card or the stencil. And then you have to come back to this video in the comment section, not in the live chat because you won't be able to access that after the video's over, but in the comment section, let me know the first 3 letters of your email address. That way I have connected your account here with the email that is claiming the prize. Let me know, Diane, if that worked for you. Oh, is Danny leaving us? All right. Talk to you later, Danny. Thanks for joining us. I'll go ahead and make this big. 9 seconds, get those in. We have 28 entries so far. All right, there we go. Time is up. Let's draw. Let's see who it is. Michelle, congratulations, Michelle. Make sure to send me that email and leave the comment. And there we go. So thank you so much to everyone who joined me today. If you are watching a replay or if you join me and have any further questions, you can always leave those in that comment section below. Before you go, as always, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. And until my next video, I hope you're all having a crafty day. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.